Thank you, Gina. Flag's just gone up. So the starter is ready for them now. The 11 runners making their way towards the tape. Coronado Joe and Blair Gowrie, and also Tiger by the Tail amongst those at the front of the pack. And 10 flights of hurdles to be jumped by these as they continue to walk towards the starter. And they're off. And this is the Kazoo Novices Hurdle, our first of 8 races this afternoon. And the runners break away with Blair Gowrie, Dan's Chosen, the orange and green on the inside, Coronado Joe, dark blue on the outer of Tiger by the Tail, the red and pink, as they make their way steadily towards the first, as taking a left-hander. They're followed by Nothing to Ask, the white sleeves and cap, and the pink cap, Get a Tonic, the favourite, sitting on the outside in midfield. Here is the first, Blair Gowrie and Tiger by the Tail. An awkward landing at the back for One for Navigation, the red and white. That's in rear with the grey and best turned out winner Milanese Rose. And they're following Here Comes Henry, and also a sheepskin noseband, that is Roger Rarebit, just racing on the outside of Fits In, as they're in between the 2 hurdles in the back straight, and Aidan Coleman and Tiger by the Tail just lead. Coronado Joe to the outside, Blair Gowrie, the light blue, on the inner, as they all get over that one safely, with Nothing to Ask following. Dan's Chosen on the inside, Tom O'Brien in orange and green. And then to the outer is Get a Tonic, the winner at Leicester 3 weeks ago and second here previously. And following that one is Here Comes Henry, the yellow and blue stripes. Roger Rarebit, Fits In, Milanese Rose, and One for Navigation is at the back of the 11-runner field, as they've jumped their 2 flights over on the far side and are now bearing left and heading back towards the home straight, with Tiger by the Tail, half-brother to that fabulous race mare Roxana, trained by the Skeltons. This one in the care of Ollie Murphy. Tiger by the Tail in front of Blair Gowrie and Nico de Boinville in second place, with Dan's Chosen on the inside. To the outer is Coronado Joe and Nick Schofield, with Nothing to Ask still following the pace. Just behind that one is Get a Tonic, as they reach the first of 3 in the home straight. Tiger by the Tail hops over it in front. A really awkward jump in rear from One for Navigation, and Jonathan England not happy with him, and he looks as though he's pulling up One for Navigation, and is doing so, as they now run towards the 4th flight in the race, second one in the home straight. And rather unpestered, it is Tiger by the Tail that leads Blair Gowrie. Get a Tonic to the outside, just taking off in 3rd there, ahead of Dan's Chosen. Out jumping Nothing to Ask, back in 5th place. Fits into the inside. Coronado Joe stays wide. Then Here Comes Henry, Roger Rarebit, and Milanese Rose, Victoria Malzard in last place. This will be the final flight next time around. And a slight guessy jump for Milanese Rose in rear, just grabbed at that hurdle. But all of them still going, with the exception of the pulled up One for Navigation. A circuit in front of them in the Kazoo Novices Hurdle. Blair Gowrie disputes with Tiger by the Tail, with Get a Tonic sharing 3rd with Dan's Chosen. Then Nothing to Ask, Coronado Joe out wide, Fits In on the inner. And then Roger Rarebit, Here Comes Henry, and Milanese Rose, as they've now completed their first circuit and run towards flight number 6. The light blue of Blair Gowrie, the pink and red of Tiger by the Tail. Approaching the next obstacle with Get a Tonic, the favourite, continuing to follow with Dan's Chosen the inside. Here's the next, first of 2 over in the back straight. Tiger by the Tail and Blair Gowrie, still 1 and 2. Dan's Chosen, Get a Tonic travelling okay in behind with Nothing to Ask likewise. Fits In, got a reminder, back in about 7th place on the inside of Roger Rarebit. Here Comes Henry, ahead of those few. Still keeping wide is Coronado Joe, as they now come towards 4 out. Tiger by the Tail jumped it well, met it on a good stride ahead of Blair Gowrie. Get a Tonic continues to stalk them with Nothing to Ask. Dan's Chosen the inner. Coronado Joe on the outside as they take a descent. Here Comes Henry, Roger Rarebit, Fits In, and Milanese Rose the back 4. So Tiger by the Tail in front on this second run over hurdles. Likewise for Blair Gowrie on the inside. They continue to be 1 and 2. Get a Tonic, she's close enough to strike under the champion jockey on the outside. Dan's Chosen is in there on the inside of Nothing to Ask. 3 lengths separate the first 5. Coronado Joe bumped along in 6th, then fits in Roger Rarebit. Here comes Henry under pressure, and Milanese Rose is still the back marker. So 3 left to jump in the opener. Tiger by the Tail has dictated much of this. Blair Gowrie the inside. Get a Tonic on the outer. The third last. Tiger by the Tail challenged by Blair Gowrie. Get a Tonic very much on the scene. Nothing to ask in behind. They're dropping Dan's Chosen now. And Get a Tonic is motoring and sweeps into the lead. Get a Tonic has gone past Blair Gowrie. And Tiger by the Tail quickly held. Nothing to ask is plugging on as they run towards the second last. Harry Skelton and Get a Tonic. Comes to 2 out. Get a Tonic over. Nothing to ask now. Challenging Blair Gowrie for second. Tiger by the Tail is back in 4th. Here comes Henry picking off a few in 5th place as now Nothing to Ask tries to challenge Get a Tonic, just lugging left. Here's the final flight. Get a Tonic committed early, trying to be challenged in second position, but not quite getting there as Get a Tonic continues to stretch away, and Get a Tonic gets the better of Nothing to Ask. Get a Tonic